All right, let's talk more Astros now on the heels of another series win in Chicago. Joining Ari and I from The Athletic, Astros beat writer Chandler Rome. Chandler, thanks for the time. Good to see you in-house tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Let's jump right into it, guys. A series win. It's baby steps right now for this team after the sluggish start with a lot of guys out. But Anaheim series win, you go to Chicago, you had to get this one as well.
Oh, for sure. And for this team to be 2 games above 500, given everything that they've gone through, and given the fact that some of the guys that they're paying to hit are really not hitting. Jose Abreu has really kind of cemented himself as this season been one of the worst everyday players in baseball. And then Alex Bregman, only a 204 batting average, only a 640 OPS. You know, you kind of to have those guys scuffling as much as they are, to have Jose Altuve still out, and have 3 members of your starting rotation currently on the IL, to be 2 games above 500, Dusty Baker, Dana Brown, they have to be doing backflips right now.
I'm looking at the record right now, 21-19. Ari, we'll start with you. I'm not concerned at all right now with what Chandler just mentioned. When you've had these many amount of guys out of this lineup right now, you're still hovering at or above 500. I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, team-wide, I'm not necessarily concerned. There are very small, specific things that I'm concerned about. Rafael Montero, obviously the pitching staff, although you just came out of a weekend where you started J.P. France, Brandon Bielak, and you won that series. So that bodes well for the Astros, especially if France can continue looking way better than his prospect status is supposed to be. They're not hitting as well as they can. The numbers aren't terrific. The bullpen's obviously not as strong as they were last year, but it's fine. The pitching staff isn't what it should be, but it's fine enough. So I think once you get the reinforcements back, Astros fans can look forward to more winning streaks. It's good for now, but there are obviously those little things like Chandler mentioned, Jose Abreu, Rafael Montero. There's a few things that are definitely there to be concerned about.
All right, what about the catcher position and how Dusty will use these guys? You've got Martin Maldonado. Chandler, we'll start with you on this, but you've got Diaz now who hit the home run today. He's starting to grow quickly as a catcher. How do you start using these guys during the course of a week? Look at a homestand, for example.
You know, I think Yainer Diaz needs to get more at-bats. I don't know where that is. I don't know if it's at first base, where he played in Anaheim. I don't know if it's more at DH. I don't know if it's behind the plate, but they need to get Yainer Diaz more at-bats. Just with the way this offense is scuffled. You know, look, Yainer Diaz is not a finished product. He chases too much out of the strike zone, a lot of early count swings, early count outs. They're trying to get him to refine his plate discipline a little bit, but he's got really good hit tool, one of the best hit tools in the Astros system. They've got to get him some more at-bats. And as far as the catching position goes, you know, I always kind of find it funny. When Martin Maldonado's offense is put under the microscope, it's because the guys they pay to hit are not hitting. So when if Jose Abreu can start hitting, if Alex Bregman can start hitting, if Jose Altuve comes back and he's performing to the level that we know he can perform at, Martin Maldonado's offense all of a sudden doesn't become this big talking point.
Yeah, well, Martin Maldonado is also going to need to, A, stay healthy, which he has, and also be valuable in the playoffs in the later course of the season, which is why I think it's a little bit strange that he's playing so much early in the year. This is kind of the time where you can get Yainer Diaz in, where you can mix in Cesar Salazar and not necessarily have to rely every single day on Martin Maldonado. He is not a guy that really should be playing 130 games, and then you save him for those heavy innings when you know that you need his game calling, then you need his leadership on the field. So yes, I would absolutely love to see Yainer Diaz more. As long as you have Cesar Salazar on the roster, why is he sitting for like 2.5 weeks? We went a long time between seeing him. Solid defensive catcher, can hit a little bit. Obviously not a great offensive player, but he's got to be in there more than once every 2 weeks. Otherwise, I mean, he's just there to hang out.
All right, we just mentioned Jose Abreu as well. They paid a lot of money in the offseason to get this guy. He has not delivered. I mean, there's a major concern with his bat in this lineup, and frankly, defensively, he hasn't been what we saw in the past with Yuli Gurriel. What do you do? What are the ideas they can do with Abreu to maybe get him going, push him a little further down the lineup more consistently?
Well, Dusty finally did something that he's been very reticent to do, and that's bat Jordan Alvarez and Kyle Tucker back-to-back, the 2 left-handed hitters, because Jose Abreu is just not getting it done in the run production department. He's not getting it done in any department, but certainly not the run production department. And that's where Jim Crane and Jeff Bagwell, who spearheaded this signing, that's where they claimed that Jose Abreu would be such a luxury. He can drive in runs, and he just hasn't done that. And I think the concerning thing to me, look, I'm not a scout and I'll never pretend to be one, but watching him at bat, it looks slow. He doesn't look on time for anything. He can't catch up to fastballs. The bat speed it looks like it's diminished a little bit, and that's got to be really, really concerning to an Astros team that has 2 more years of this. Now, he can turn it around. It's early, but I mean, there has been no real string of at-bats or games that showed me that Jose Abreu is anywhere near a turnaround.
Yeah, at this point, you're almost looking for what is the excuse, what is the reason as to why he's behind on fastballs, which is something he's never done for his career. I'd like to bring up Nelson Cruz last year as a comparison. He had a bad season, and then you find out that he needed some sort of eye surgery, and his exit velos were still fine. He just wasn't really hitting, and then he comes out this year and is playing much better. Is there something going on behind the scenes? Is there some lingering injury? Does he need contacts? Are there just something that we don't necessarily know about that's going on with Jose Abreu? Because I wanted to give him grace first few weeks. All right, he's down, the power's down. He's supposedly a slow starter, but it is mid-May now, and he hasn't had a home run yet. And like Chandler mentioned, he's behind on fastballs, which is something he's never done before. I think it's right to be concerned at this point.
As Adam Wexler was on the show last week, he had a great line. He said, which Jose A is going to get the first home run of the season whenever Altuve rejoins the team? Hey, lastly, before we let you go, Chandler, this is a stretch now at home. You got the Cubs, you got the A's, and in fact, as you mentioned before we came in studio, 6 of the next 12 are against Oakland. You got to take care of business right now to get some separation there.
Yeah, the schedule's going to soften up. 6 of those 12 games, like you mentioned, against the A's, who may be the worst Major League Baseball team ever constructed. And now look, baseball is one of those sports you don't win on paper. They still have to go out and still have to get 27 outs, still have to score more runs than the other team. But this is an upcoming portion of the schedule. The Cubs just took it on the chin from the Twins this weekend as well. This is a portion of the schedule where Dusty Baker always talks about getting some separation from 500. The Astros need to do that here. And, when you look at what Jose Altuve is doing in AAA Sugarland, the fact that he's played 3 days in a row, would not be surprised to see Jose Altuve entered back into the mix during this stretch of games as well.
All right, we will keep an eye on it. Astros back home at Minute Maid, starting with the Cubs on Monday. Chandler Rome from The Athletic, a longtime Astros beat writer here in H-Town. Chandler, thanks for the time, man. Appreciate it.